Welcome into NFL Daily. Today's video is a look at the top wide receiver rankings on Mel Kiper's way too early 2023 NFL draft prospects. If you want more NFL draft videos, we need your help. If you like today's show and you like having NFL draft conversation, help us out. Share this video to Facebook, Twitter, text, or wherever so that we can show the bosses that you want more NFL draft coverage even as the NBA offseason ramps up. So if you like today's show, show it by sharing this video. Today's NFL Draft video is presented by Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free shipping on all of their top-of-the-line men's grooming products, including the all-new Platinum Package. When you head over to manscaped.com/chat, we'll tell you more about the deal you get with that later on in today's show. At number 1 in Kiper's wide receiver rankings is Jaxon Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Not a huge surprise here. He was number 5, by the way, on Kiper's 2023 draft rankings. Very technically sound player. Had his coming out party against Utah in the Rose Bowl. 347 yards and 3 scores on 15 catches. There are some questions, though, about his true top-end speed. Here's what Kiper wrote about JSN. He led Ohio State in catches and yards, even on a team with 2 receivers drafted in round 1 in April. He averaged 16.9 yards per reception, showing stellar burst and explosiveness. He's a hands catcher who can run the entire route tree, and he can make defenders miss after the catch. Most of Smith-Njigba's work came from the slot. All but 8 of his catches came from when he was lined there, but he'll play more outside in 2022. Jaxon Smith-Njigba's production was absolutely incredible. Ohio State has kind of rapidly begun to turn into wide receiver U. This is not the only OSU prospect I will talk about. Teaser alert on today's show. Kayshon Boutte next up here out of LSU, number 9 overall in Kiper's top 25 draft rankings. He was limited by quarterback play in 2021, had a leg injury that will have to be verified and vetted throughout this season and at the medical checks at the combine. But as long as the quarterback play does not hold him back, the expectation is a major breakout year. Here's what Kiper wrote. Boutte was tied for the FBS lead with 9 touchdown catches in 6 games before a right leg injury ended his season. He can stretch the field. He excels at go routes. He can outrun defensive backs. He has great hand-eye coordination. Boutte could have a huge season in 2022, and I expect him to compete to be the top wide receiver in this class. His production year over year, it did dip in 2021 from a yards and catches standpoint, not touchdowns. Again, he did not play in as many games. These appear, if you listen to the draft consensus pundits out there, to be the top 2 receivers in this year's class. Some differences on the order there. Who do you think, when it's all said and done, will be wide receiver 1 in the 2023 NFL Draft? I'm going to lean towards Jaxon Smith-Njigba, but there's a good long list of receivers who are talented like we get in pretty much every draft class as of late. So I want to hear from you. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and drop the name of the player you think is wide receiver 1 in this year's draft. Might see some of this name, Jordan Addison, the former Pitt receiver who is now transferred to USC. Addison was 18th overall in Kiper's rankings. I mentioned the Pitt transfer, Blitnikoff Award winner. I would wonder if his best position in the NFL is going to be as a slot receiver, given his lack of ideal size, but his overall play style, namely his route running and quickness. Here's what Kiper wrote. Addison had a breakout 2021, winning the Blitnikoff Award at Pitt as Kenny Pickett's go-to target. Now he's headed to play for Lincoln Riley at USC with talented quarterback Caleb Williams. Addison led the FBS in receiving touchdowns, excelling after the catch and lining up all over the field. He is a polished route runner. I was most impressed with Addison's ability to make up ground with late bursts to catch the football. The production was startling. Well over 1,500 yards on 100 catches for Addison, 17 touchdowns. Frequently the offense at Pitt was we're going to get Addison open and do a short, quick pass to him and let him thrive afterwards, which is what you should do when you have Jordan Addison there. I put him in my first round of my way too early mock draft, and I am very excited to see how he fares with Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley at USC this year. When it comes to the first round, there are always going to be a lot of receivers who go that early because NFL teams covet playmakers at the position. So how many wide receivers do you think end up going in round 1 of the 2023 NFL Draft? Sound off in the comments section. Number 4 on Kiper's list, and this is where you start to get some difference in the quote-unquote consensus stuff, Josh Downs. He thrived and emerged as the number 1 UNC receiver. They lose Diami Brown, etc., and Downs is the one who ends up emerging. He offers vertical ability and speed despite being a predominant slot receiver for the Tar Heels. The vast majority of his reps were in that mold. 101 catches, over 1,300 yards. We will see how he fares without Sam Howell as his quarterback, but Downs is getting plenty of buzz leading up to this year's draft. Today's show is presented by Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free shipping, not just the Lawnmower 4.0, but the Platinum Package. 52% when you use promo code CHAT at manscaped.com/chat, as opposed to buying all these items individually. You're talking about a over $200 value you're getting for $123.99. Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, the most comfortable boxers known to mankind, deodorant, body spray, body wash, travel case, ball toner, ball deodorant. List goes on right there. You saw how many things I just named off, right? Father's Day is over, but if you want to be a father this time next year, or if you just want to be somebody's daddy, head over to Manscaped and use manscaped.com/chat as the URL to get 20% off and free shipping. The first of 2 Alabama wide receiver transfers on this list, Tyler Harrell, who was at Louisville last year and was very much underused by the offense. This is the expectation around college football in Alabama. This is one of the biggest breakout candidates. Harrell averaged an unbelievable 29.1 yards per catch last year. He caught 18 passes. Those went for 6 touchdowns and 523 yards. The speed is incredible. There is a lot of projection involved with this one, but we know how the NFL covets speed. Harrell could have a Jamison Williams type transfer. Maybe not quite that extreme, but that's the expectation and the hope around Harrell for the Crimson Tide. Time for one of my guys, Quentin Johnston out of TCU. Big size, 6'4", 201. I think he's actually a bit heavier than that. That's the listed size, 201. The production has not been elite so far for the TCU product, but he's a very unique and rare blend of the size, of the speed, and the after-catch ability. He is not afraid to break tackles. There's a little bit of Dez Bryant to his game with the size, a little bit bigger than Dez listed-wise, but the after-catch stuff is certainly there. The production's not spectacular. He's barely got 1,000 yards in his career, but when the ball was in his hands, he's averaged almost 20 yards per catch over 2 seasons. That is dynamic, and that is game-breaking ability. I'm a big fan of what Johnson's done 2020 on the left, 2021 on the right, stats-wise. I can't wait to see what he does this season. Now, if you want more free NFL and NFL draft videos, you've come to the right spot. Hit that big red button and subscribe today. I know it's the NBA offseason, that's the priority, free agency, blah, blah, blah. But we're still going to do NFL stuff. And if you like the NFL, and especially if you like the NBA, Chat Sports is your home. So hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Rakim Jarrett, a former 5-star recruit from at Maryland, which will elicit comparisons to Stephon Diggs in the end, given the, 5-star nature playing at Maryland, right? Inside, outside, some flex there, has been productive at both spots. He pairs with Dante Demas, who we'll get to later on in today's show as the players left off Kiper's list, as someone worth watching. Good production, 5 touchdowns, 62 grabs, 829 yards. To his brother, Talia's got some good playmakers at Maryland. Watch for a big year from Jarrett and from Demas. Zay Flowers, number 8 on this list out of Boston College. His production did dip in 2021 in large part due to Phil Jurkovich's injury. Good burst playmaking ability once the ball was in his hands. I feel like because everyone's going to try to find the next Deebo Samuel, people will try to force Deebo comps to him, which in terms of being able to get handoffs and touches behind the line of scrimmage, it does work out. But maybe don't compare players to Deebo, where that's a bit of a unique talent there in the end. 2020 campaign, almost 900 yards. If Jurkovec is healthy, his stock will rise, and Flowers will along with it. Number 9, Jermaine Burton, another Alabama transfer at the skill position spot, leaving Georgia to go be in an offense that will actually get him the ball a little bit more. His numbers were depressed by that Georgia offense. He was consistently open, but they ran the football. They did not throw it all that often, so his numbers were not that impressive. I expect Burton to potentially exceed his career numbers this year in his potentially only season at Alabama. His previous career high was 497. I could easily see Burton going for 1,000 yards. In fact, I'd probably take the over on that figure. I am excited to see what he can do with a more offense tailored to his skill set. So the two Bama receiver transfers who are both in the top 10 of Kiper's rankings, pick one for me. Type in JB for Jermaine Burton or type in TH for Tyler Harrell. Oklahoma's Marvin Mims next up here. We've not quite seen the true breakout that we've all kind of been waiting for. Mims not the biggest build, but he's got some pretty damn impressive big playability. What could be an issue here is who ends up being the quarterback for Oklahoma this year. Mims had 610 yards in 2020 as a freshman. The expectation is, oh my God, he's going to ball 1,000 yards. He's incoming. Only goes for 705 on fewer catches, though. So my hope is that this year, with hopefully more at least stability at the quarterback position, that Mims can emerge as a true full-time guy on the outside and put up big-time numbers. So that was Kiper's top 10. We are not done because we like to go above and beyond here at Chat Sports. I've got some more names coming up. But who is Mel Kiper hating on in his receiver rankings? Which player or players did Kiper leave off? My list coming up, but I want to hear from you guys first in the comment section. I did want to briefly mention Ainias Smith. The production's not spectacular, 509 yards. We mentioned this in the running backs video too. Kiper had Smith in his top 10 running backs this time last year. Now he's unranked at both running back and receiver, which is kind of weird, but he is more of a slot receiver type. I think he's right to not be in the top 10. Sleeper name to watch out for here is Ronnie Bell, who I was hyped about having a big-time breakout year in 2021, and I felt great about it. His first catch was a 76-yard score, and then he got hurt. He was productive in 2019 when he had 758 yards, 401 in just 6 games in 2020, so pace-wise it was better. Then he gets hurt. Keep an eye on Bell breaking out as a fifth-year senior. So I know we got a lot of Michigan fans who watch. What up, guys? Will Ronnie Bell be a top 100 pick? Answer for me in the comment section. Y for yes or N for no. Some other receivers I want to keep an eye out for here, and we'll just group these 4 together. Another 4 coming up. Dante Demas, Julian Fleming, Parker Washington, and Nathaniel Dell. Demas first up, bigger body, not the best production, not as athletic as the 5-star recruit for Maryland in Rakim Jarrett, but he's got a bigger body and was limited by injury last year. Julian Fleming, touted recruit, has to beat out not draft-eligible Marvin Harrison Jr. for receiver 2, but the talent's there. Keep an eye on Parker Washington, built like a running back, could emerge as the number 1 slot receiver in this year's class. And Nathaniel Dell is fun. 90 catches, over 1,000 yards for Houston, but he is very small, and that will ding him in the NFL. 4 more names: Jacob Cowing, Keaton Thompson out of Virginia, A.T. Perry, and Jaden Reed. Cowing is a UTEP to Arizona transfer. Elite production for the Miners, now has to produce for the Wildcats in 2022. Thompson is going to be 25 as a rookie. He's old. Drops have been an issue, but he's a former quarterback turned receiver who can kind of do a couple different things for you on offense. A.T. Perry's got great size, is a little bit older than what you'd like to have, but look at that production. 15 touchdown catches with almost 1,300 yards. Thompson's also got some really good size there. And Jaden Reed out of Michigan State, over 1,000 yards despite Maybe some inconsistent quarterback play for Michigan State. So those are 8 more names, 10 if you include Smith and Bell, in a very long list of wide receiver draft prospects to watch for 2023.